Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be this super dramatic tutorial plus another tutorial because we are doing a 2 looks 1 palette using the Melt She's in Parties palette. Look at the beautiful packaging, all that gorgeous filigree, very my style. I love it, and this is a deep palette as you can see that I have used on my eyes, and I didn't even use the darkest shade in this palette, which is amazing. So in this look I used 1, 2, 3, 4 shades. I only meant to use 3. I only said I was going to use 3, but I did end up using a 4th one, which you'll see in the tutorial. I will also be using more of the shades in my second look that is in this, because I will be doing the 2 looks in this. I love this palette so far. I'm loving having a play with this. I was feeling a spooky mood for this first look, so hence the super dramatic eye, and I love it. I'm very excited for you guys to see it. If you want to see any of my kind of review, my overall review for the first time using this, swatches, any of that kind of stuff, I have that linked down below. That will be my first impressions, and you can see that. Go check it out down there. Also, up close pictures, eye pictures, full face pictures, all that kind of stuff will be on my Instagram, linked down below as well. And my TikTok is down below, where I post some fun, weird content down there. So I think we're going to get straight in. I don't want to dilly-dally for this one. We're going to get straight into look number 1. Okay, so we're going to get into look number 1 using the She's in Parties palette, and we're going to do a reverse smoky eye. I just feel like whenever I have these tones in front of me, like burgundies, like anything like that, reverse smoky eye is just it's just something I always imagine with it. I'm not going to use the darkest shade probably, but I'm going to use the darkest shimmer probably, and I'm going to use these 2 mattes. So there's only actually 3 shadows, probably only 2, well, 3 shadows that I'm going to use out of this palette to create this look. It's a very simple look. It's just if you're either brave enough to go for it, you're quite used to wearing weird shades, you don't mind a bit of a grungy sort of look, this is going to be a good look for you. If you're a bit weary of like darkening your inner corner, making it look a bit weird, it might not be your kind of look. So it's just up to yourself, whatever you want to wear. I already have my skin on, brows on, my eyeshadow primer, I'll just let you know what I used for a reason, is the MAC Painterly Paint Pot. It's just the same kind of color as my skin, and I wanted something that is basically a cream eyeshadow, so it's going to set, so I don't have to do anything on this outer part here, but it'll also cover up any veininess on the eye, because a lot of my eyeshadow primers are clear, they don't give any color. So I use that to kind of even everything out and give us also a base to work on that you don't have to put any excess shadow onto. So that's what I used. So let's start. So as I said, it's a odd look, so we're going to start with the darkest matte that I'm going to use here. If I feel like I'll add the darkest matte in here, but I'm going to start with Last Caress, which is the kind of mid-tone mauvey sort of shade. I'm taking that on a 221 from MAC, just a little bit, and you're just going to literally pop that on that inner part in here. I always start really slowly, build it up, making sure the deepest part is this bit in here, but you can see even that mid-tone shade goes super dark. And what I like to do is take a little bit, and almost as if you're pulling it into the crease, just like that, but it's just to give a bit of definition there, that's all. And we will be obviously blending this out a bit more, so I'm just building up the intensity of how I want it to be. I'm going right around my tear duct because that gives that extra effect as well. And then just using the same brush, because this is not a super precise, clean sort of look, I'm just taking that on the lower lash line under here, connecting to the inner corner. Exactly what you would normally do on this outer corner here, we're doing it on this inner corner in here. Just blend that across a little bit. And I love a tired eye, so I love these sorts of looks. I think they look really fun. Okay, so if you're on the borderline of looking like you got punched in the face, you're doing the right thing. I think that's the idea we're going for here. So I'm going to take the shade Total Immortal, which is one of my favorite shades in this palette so far from using it for my first impressions. I'm taking this on a BB203 brush from Beauty Bay. It's just a big fluffy brush. I've only used it once off camera. I didn't actually use it on camera, and I really like the size and the shape of it. So that we're going to use now just to blend all out, all the edges. You can start bringing this a bit further through the crease. Again, we still want to look like we have a defined crease. We just don't want it to be out here that it's defined. So just all around all your edges. Even under here, bring that across as well. Okay, so we should have something along this sort of line. So I have defined my crease and I have defined my lower lash line, but again, we haven't really touched out here, and it's all blended out in here. But I have lost a little bit of the depth. I know it still looks really dark in there, but the depth that I want it to be on the most inner parts. I'm just taking a little bit more of that darker shade, the Last Caress. Yes. And just re-intensify that very inner corner. Okay, so I was going to use the darkest shimmer here, but I actually think the base on it is quite brown. Oh, I don't know now. You see, I was going to use that to kind of add a shimmer in here but still keep the darkness, but then I'm thinking this has a bit more purple in it, and this is looking a bit more purple because of that lighter blending shade. I don't know what to do. Okay, yeah, I think I am going to use that darker shade. So we're going to take the shade Lost Control, and we're going to take just a small bit, really tap it off because I already have my concealer on, and I did get a good bit of follow from the shimmers in this palette before, and we're just going to take that on the very inner corner as if you're doing an inner corner highlight, except it ain't a highlight, it's dark. I'm just taking my bigger fluffy brush and just blend out the edges of that. Yeah, it kind of... I mean, I might still actually use the other shade. It added a little bit of a, like a satininess to it, but it didn't really add too much. I forgot to say which brush I used, but I am going to use it again as well. This is the Lavender Luxe number 9 brush from BH Cosmetics. We're going to take the shade Strange Love, which is that other shimmer, the kind of lighter lavendery shimmer. Has a bit more of a purple tone in it. And add that just over top. I still did the other darker shade on this eye as well, just because they won't match if I don't, so just to get them on. And this is just, I still want it to be dark, but I want there to be a little bit of a twinkliness to it. Okay, so it looks weird and it doesn't look appealing right now. To me it does, because I love this kind of look, but it's going to look so much better once I have my liner, lashes and all that kind of stuff done. So I'm going to jump off. This is a super quick look, by the way. Anytime I do this sort of look, it's super quick. I actually really should do this more when I'm in a hurry to go out, because I love how it looks once it's done. So I'm going to go and I'm going to pop on some liner, lashes, cheeks, and probably a dark lip, because I love a dark lip with this sort of look as well. And I'll come back and I'll show you what I used on my face. Alrighty guys, so this is how I have finished off the look. Okay, so I'm in a bit of a spooky mood right now, hence the super spooky top that I bought from Shein, chokers, glitter, lash, smoky, reverse smoky eye, all that kind of jazz, and the dark lip. Feeling my spooky self right now, although it is like the beginning of the year, doesn't matter, it's fine. So I'm going to go through everything that I used to finish off this look because I'm loving it. So on the waterline, I didn't want anything to really take away from anything on the eye, so I just used the NYX Epic Wear liner stick in the shade Dusty Mauve, which is a dusty mauve. Matches quite well with the tones in this palette overall. I think it's really nice. So I just popped that on the waterline. It just literally gave me a little bit of colour on the waterline. It didn't do darken, lighten, anything. It just added a little lick of colour there. Then my liner is the NYX Epic Ink Liner in black, which is one of my favourite liners out there. And I did a nice dramatic enough wing liner, because I feel like a wing liner goes really well with this sort of look. It really balances the darkness on the inside with the shape on the outside, and it just makes it look more dark and grungy. I love it. As I said, it's a dark and grungy look. It's not going to be for everyone, but it's definitely for me. Then my mascara, I've moved away from my Maybelline Great Lash Mascara, which, as I said towards the end, I didn't really like it after all because it just didn't really do much for me. But I've moved on to fully onto my MAC in Extreme Dimension mascara, because I love this one, so I'm using that right now. And you'll notice up here, if you can see in the lights, I've got twinkles. We've got twinkly bits. So this is the Apocalyptic Beauty glitter in the shade Void Between Worlds. So it's got some like pink, or not pink, purple and silver holographic glitters. It's also got giant silver stars, if you can see that, and black stars. So I used the black stars and the kind of twinkly purpley bits. That's kind of all I didn't use any of the bigger stars because, again, I wanted to keep all these purpley gothic sort of vibes. And I just used my NYX glitter primer just to stick that on, because that just works easy enough. These glitters are not eye safe, so don't use them around the eyes. Do as I say, not as I do. I take these off with a cotton bud away from my face and away from my eyes completely, and then take off the rest of my makeup. I do that first before I do anything else. And then for the super dramatic lashes, which I'm kind of sad because this one started to break on me as I was about to put it on, but I put it on anyway. I stuck it down. I think this is the last go out of these, and I'm very sad, but I will order more if they go on sale. These are the House of Lashes Noir Fairy Black, and I love these lashes. These are so wingy, so dark, so dramatic. When you're doing a winged liner and you want that real intense look, these are the lashes for you. I love them. Also, can we appreciate my side braid? It's not very good because I'm not good at doing hair, but when I turn to the side, it looks really cool. Yeah, I like it. And then on the lip, I went in another spooky sort of lip. I went in with my LA Splash Presents Classic Horror Liquid Lipstick in the shade Phantom. So it's just a beautiful aubergine purple, plummy purple. I love it. It's beautiful, super dark, not quite black, still quite purple. And I just think it goes really well with the tone that this creates on the inner corner with that lighter matte and then the darker matte. But yeah, I love it. Oh, I almost forgot my cheeks. I don't know how I almost forgot that. But basically, for my bronzer and my bronzer is my Hoola Lite from Benefit, and my blusher is the Rockateur, which I love this one. I'm doing darker kind of eyes like this. My Rockateur blusher, And then, which you can buy all of these separately, I just have them in one palette, which is handy for me. My highlight, then you can see I'm super wet and sparkly. I went in with my Fenty Beauty How Many Carats Diamond Bomb highlighter, which is a completely transparent, just sparkly. There's no base colour, so it works on most people's skin. Just gives you that wet, sparkly sort of look. And I think that is everything that I have on my face. I don't want to forget anything else. So this is our first look using the She's in Parties palette. As I said in the beginning, if you want to see any up close swatches, my first thoughts on this, I do have a video already live of my first impressions. This is such a beautiful palette. I think this is such a me sort of palette. I really like this palette. I'm so happy I got this in my life. I feel like even though there is only the 3 mattes in it, I can still do a lot with these mattes. As you can see, this looks completely different to the first impressions, and my last look will look quite different as well. But I think this is such a, like, for me, an easy going out sort of palette, because these are the vibes I go for. I don't wear this style of look as often as I should, but I really should wear this more. I love this sort of look, especially when I'm going out on my full-on proper emo nights out, when we go and throwback, because bars are open fully now. So I'm definitely going to do this, maybe for my boyfriend's birthday. I am filming this in January, so my boyfriend's birthday is at the end of this month, and I think I will wear something along these lines. He's going to love this. So that is the first look. Let's see how we got on with look number 2. Okay, we're going to get into look number 2, and we are going to do a halo eye, because I can't not do a halo eye. I love a halo eye, and especially with a palette like this. All the dark plummy grungy golds for this look. So I'm going to use my darker shade. I'm probably going to use this matte shade here. I'm probably going to use this one, the She's in Party shade, because I haven't used that shimmer yet, and maybe Skeleton Kiss. Don't know if I'm going to use Strange Love. That is my favourite shimmer of the palette though, but I think I'm definitely going to use them 2 shimmers. We're going to do a full halo. We're going to do a halo bottom as well on the lower lash line, just to give us something a little bit different from the last one that I did. But yeah, I don't have my full skin on. I do have a bit of foundation on the upper half of my eyes, like around my eyes and my forehead. I do have my brows on and my eyeshadow primer on. The reason I have a little bit of foundation on is because I like to put my foundation on before I do my brows, and I like to do my brows before I do my eyes, but I did want to do my full face because there is a bit of fallout, so I just wanted to have it a lot easier for myself, because I can just wipe away this bottom half and redo it down here. So yeah, I have to still do concealer and all that kind of stuff on top, so we're going to work on this. See this right here? This is I've already gelled this, and it's not sticking. I need more gel. So we're going to start with Mean Streak, which is the deepest shade here, because for my halos I like to go dark. And again, with this, you don't need to put this in a lot of areas, because we are going to blend this out. I want this to mostly be the focus on the inner and outer corner, and let the other shade do all the work for me. So just popping that on that outer corner, just building up. It goes way cooler on the eye than it actually looks. It looks quite burgundy, leaning into a red purple, but when it's actually on, it goes so much more purple than red. So I quite like it though. But yeah, just a little bit on the outer corner, just build that up until you're happy and satisfied with how saturated it is, because I do want this to be quite dark. This is a 221 for MAC, by the way, just so you know. And then we're going to pop that on the inner part of the eye. Again, don't go up too high, because we are going to blend that, and leave a good bit of space on the lid so you have enough room for all the shimmers. And I am going to take that same shade for my lower lash line. I want to work on that as I go, because it just gives me more of a complete look. So I'm taking that same shade, Mean Streak, on a K10 brush from Cash Beauty, which is a super small little definer brush like this, and we're just going to do on the outer corner, outer third of the lower lash line, just a little bit inwards, just to give us a little bit of a framing around here, and also connecting that to the outer corner. I won't do too much blending on my lower lash line until I have my under eye concealer on, but I just want to get the dark shade down here so I don't get too much fallout then when I do have my concealer on. I'll just take on some of this and pop that on the inner part in here. Again, leave a nice gap in between, because I sometimes only fit one shimmer on the lower lash line, but I am going to try and fit both so they match. So just something like that. Halo eye, as always, trust the process. Okay, so now I want to blend the top of the eye. Again, we're just going to leave the bottom as is, but I'm going to take Total Immortal, and we're going to go to town with this shade. This is one of my favorite shades in the whole palette. So I'm taking that on a 224 from MAC, just a big fluffy brush, and just go in. You can see also I left a gap of that dark shade in the center of the crease because this is where we're going to pull it through by blending, so it's not as harsh as the outer corners. And because we're going from so dark to so light, it might take a little bit of time to blend, and it is the Melt formula, so it does take a little bit longer to blend out, but that is absolutely fine once I get that intensity that I like, that I normally like with my Melt formula. So just taking it the whole way around all the dark matte on the upper crease. Again, don't worry about the lower lash line, we'll do that after. Same in here, you're going to just go in and go to town. If you lose a bit of intensity from the darkness, you can always add it back in, so don't worry about that. And then just start pulling between the two sides on the center of the crease. And you're just going to keep going until you're happy with how intense everything is, how everything is blended, all your edges. Yeah, I definitely have some fallout out here, but I'm just taking the 221 just with whatever's on it and just re-intensify that really dark shade, the shade Mean Streak, just to make sure that we're not losing that depth on that part right here, on this bit right here. They're the two most important parts for this dark shade. Just while I'm blending, I thought I'd add in, I recently just bought, in fact I bought it today as I'm filming this video, but it might be a few weeks before this video actually goes up. I didn't know that Vans did a horror movie collection for their shoes. Found that out when I was buying my boyfriend part of his birthday present in the Vans store. Never really go in there. Used to always wear Vans though, years ago, but I haven't gone in there in a while. Went in and I'm just looking at some of the shoes because I haven't worn them in a while, and I was like, oh, maybe this is a nice pair of shoes for me. And I look over and there's an Exorcist pair of shoes. I'll show you. Look. Who didn't tell me about this? Why did no one tell me about this? Why did I know about this sooner? What? So yeah, I got them and they were on sale as well, so I got them even cheaper than I would normally. Yeah, I now have an Exorcist pair of shoes and I feel like I'm complete in life. Also, I have decided to rewatch season 4 of American Horror Story just because, one of my favourite seasons. I know a lot of people didn't really like it, but I love it. I don't know. I really liked all the drama. And that's one of my favourite Evan Peters characters in it, although my absolute favourite is Kit Walker from the Asylum season. My one after that one is probably Jimmy Darling, which is in this Freak Show one, and then my one after that one is Kai from the Cult season, because I loved the whole idea of the Cult season. I thought it was brilliant. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with how that has blended. It actually blends out quite quicker than I thought it would compared to, say, the Muerte palette from Melt. This hair, I swear to God, we're just going to ignore it and I'll fix it for pictures. But yeah, so that's it's just a much easier blend, I find. So, and I use quite a sticky base, so we're all good. I'm going to work on the shimmers now. So I'm going to use my NYX glitter primer because that's what I prefer to use for my shimmers. And the shimmer, especially the dark shimmers, is where I've found I get the most follow. I do have some follow from that dark matte, but I'm just putting this on with my finger, by the way, on the center of the lid. But I find the shimmers, because they're quite soft shimmers, as in they feel quite soft, they do have a lot of kick up in the pan, I do get a bit of fallout from those. But I'm just going to do the shimmers on the upper lid. I'm not going to worry about the bottom right now because I haven't done my lower lash line. Okay, so now we're going to take She's in Parties, which is the warmest of these sort of darker shimmers. And I'm going to take that on a super small brush. I'm going to tap it off just so it saves me some fallout, but just a really small little brush like this. And that is going to go on either side of those mattes. So one on this side and then a little bit in here, but leaving a gap in the middle for the lightest shimmer to really create that halo effect. Oh, it's a lot warmer. These mattes on me go so purple. I don't know if they go that purple on everyone else. I'm not mad at it because it's my favourite kind of purple, so it doesn't bother me. But then I don't know if the shimmers necessarily match each other because, I don't know. It kind of does though, I kind of like it. So I'm just slightly flicking that shade into the matte on either corner. And then go back in with your 221, pick up a little dab of the darkest shade and just press over where they meet to get a nice blend in between. And then I'm just taking a really small little brush like this, just like a small little lip brush. We're going to take the shade Skeleton Kiss, which is that really light kind of buttery, it's kind of like a buttery creamy sort of shade with a pink shimmer. I think this is going to match that shimmer really well, but it doesn't necessarily match the other shades because they are a bit cooler toned on me personally. Again, it could be just my skin tone, but I'm hoping that the pink shows up a lot in this since we are placing it beside another shimmer that is quite warm. And that's just going to go on that center little bit there. So at first it'll look like a big stripe down the middle, but the more you start to overlap a little bit with the darker shimmer, it will give you a nice blend. And like what we did out in the outer corner, you can just kind of wiggle over with the darker shimmer to get your blend going, and then just go back and forward until you're happy. Okay, I am loving it because I love how dark this is. So I am going to tidy up my lower lash and I'm going to add a little bit of face makeup. And this hair, I feel like cutting it. It's annoying me that much. I'm going to tuck it. As I was saying, I am going to put on my skin, tidy up the fallout, all that kind of stuff, and I'll come back. We'll do the lower lash line together, finish off as much of the shadow as I'm going to do, and then yeah, we'll see how we get on from there. Okay, so I am back. I am all kind of skin is done basically, and under eye concealer is done, so we still have the bottom as is. I am going to take Total Immortal again, the lighter matte. This is just a MAC 512 SES brush. It came out with their Christmas collection in 2020, I think it was. So I'm just using that because it's kind of flat and fluffy, but any little fluffy brush will do, or any kind of smudgy brush will do. Pencil brush will do as well. So I'm just taking that on the edge, like the way we did on top of that darker plummy shade, and blend that out like exactly how we did on top. And we're going to blend the same way in here as well, just to make sure that our edges are lovely. And then I'm just going to take that little brush that we used for the matte shade for the lower lash line, take a little bit more of that dark matte, and we're just going to re-intensify just to make sure we didn't lose any colour, the same way we did on top. And then the same in here as well, just because I lost a little bit of the intensity. Okay, so for shimmers, I want to try and fit both shimmers on that I want to use, that I use on top. But obviously I've lost a bit of space down here from blending, it just goes a bit everywhere. So I'm going to take the shade Cheese and Parties on the very tip of the brush that I used for that on the lid. And that's just going to go very much overlapping that darker shade on the bottom. I'm leaving the tiniest gap. It's just to give the illusion that it's there. I don't mind if it's very prominent, I don't really mind that too much. It's just so that you can see a hint of it the way it is on top. Then I'm taking the shade Skeleton Kiss, which is what we use down the center of the lid, and that's going to go in the center of the lower lash line. Okay, we're almost done. I hope you can't hear that helicopter flying over my house for some reason, but I'm going to take the shade Skeleton Kiss again on that same small brush, and we're just going to pop that on this inner part in here, just a small bit. I don't want to lose the depth that we have going on for the corners, but just to give a little bit of shimmer, because I do prefer a shimmer on my inner corner. Okay, so that is the look. We are going to jump off. I'm going to finish off my eyes with a liner and a lash. I'm going to do some cheeks. I'm going to do a lip. I have to decide on a lip. I don't know what to do, but I will decide as I go, and I'll come back and I'll show you what I used on my face. Okay guys, so this is how I have finished off the look. I kind of went for a dark-ish lip. Like, I wouldn't consider it super dark, but I definitely consider it a colour on the lip. So I'm going to show you what I use now. But before we get onto the lip, I want to show you what I use in my eyes. So to finish off the eyes, I didn't do any upper lash line liner because I normally don't when I do a normal halo eye. If I do a winged out halo eye, then I will usually do a winged liner with it, but with this one I decided not to. So I went in with my Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil in the shade Dragon Smoke. This came out with the Game of Thrones collection, which I know was like a million years ago, but I still have this. And just any kind of dark, this is like a almost black purple with a blue sparkle in it, but any kind of dark liner will do for this. And I just pop that on my waterline. My mascara then is my MAC in Extreme Dimension mascara, just to give me, well, just I was putting lashes on anyway, but to give my lower lashes lots of volume as well. And then for the lashes, these are a newer pair for me. These are the BH Cosmetics M204. That's what the box looks like, and they're like $3.50, and they're super kind of spiky and choppy, and I love them. Onto cheeks then, I went in with my Nabla Skin Bronzing Powder in the shade Eyebrow, which looks like that. Just super soft, nice bit of warmth on the skin, just to give me a bit of shape and a bit of colour. Then for blush, I went in with my Benefit Dandelion blusher, just super soft pink. It looks like almost white on the camera, but it is a very soft pink, just to give me a little bit of colour on the cheeks. And then although I went in with a lot of powders on the cheeks, and I did powder my skin quite a bit, I did go in with a liquid highlight. So I went in with the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Hello Halo liquid highlighter in the shade Halo Goodbye. So it's just like a soft, light, pinky, icy kind of pinky sort of shade. It goes very well with my skin, but I do need to use it more, especially when I'm doing more of a glowy skin, I think. And then onto the lip, I went in with my Sleek Twist Up lip pencil in the shade Deep Cherry, which is a very deep kind of more purpley sort of tone, so kind of like the colour that the darker shades go to and the matte shades go to when they're actually on the eye, so more like that. And then I went in with MAC lipstick in the shade Captive, which is basically like a warmer version of that, so more plummy, more berry toned, and yeah, I think it's a really nice balance. Okay, so that is our second look using the She's in Parties palette, and it's the final look of the video. I am kind of obsessed with this palette a little bit. There is things I would change about it. I wouldn't say it's my perfect palette, but it's a great palette for me who loves these sort of tones. I would probably change this out to be a little bit icier, and maybe just change that one out to be a bit icier, because I quite like how the other colours look together. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I'd probably do something like that. I will say the mattes in this lean cooler than I thought they were going to be on my skin, compared to some of the shimmers being as warm as they are. I would definitely like to use this one, because I used a little bit in the first look, but I would definitely want to use it again and maybe just do a full-on smoky eye with that. I think that would be stunning, but this is the kind of palette I would gravitate towards. If I'm going to go for something smoky, like glam, this is my kind of vibe. The verdict on the palette is I love it. I'm loving it more now that I've used it more, and I can't wait to use it some more. And I hope you guys found some helpful looks with this sort of thing. I know the first one was a bit of a weird one, but embrace it. If you can get away with it, embrace it, because it's a fun look to do. If you did like this video, then give me a big thumbs up down below. It's the quickest, simplest and easiest way to give me a little bit of support, get me around to more people, and also let me know that you like the video, and I will continue to do more. We've got many more videos coming up. We've got many more two looks on palettes, more first impressions, palettes, palette bingos, anything and everything that I've already kind of been doing on my channel. It's all coming up as well, with some new palette content as well, so go subscribe to see all that coming up soon. As I said in the beginning, my Instagram is linked down below, where you can see the full face pictures, up close eye pictures of this look, so you can see all the beautiful action going on here. And lastly, let me know in the comments down below, which look was your favourite? I don't know. I honestly think though the first look in this video was my favourite, because of how weird and grungy it was, and I was in such a spooky mood. But I do love, I can't help but love a halo eye. I love this look so much. I think it's very pretty. Maybe if I was going to do this sort of look again, I'd maybe use a cooler tone shimmer. So maybe the, what are you called? Strange Love, or maybe Sleepwalk. They'd be the two shimmers I would use for this kind of look. Or even that really dark shade. Maybe I should have used that one, because it is just slightly on the warm side for that kind of darker shimmer that I use. But I still love how it looks, and I think it's a great look for green eyes, blue eyes, and as I always say, brown eyes can get away with most colours, so you're kind of good to go with everything. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below which one was your favourite, and I will see you in the next video, guys. Bye!